Xiao Yan and Yao Lao arrived at the Yao clan for the medicine ceremony. This was a competition of the finest alchemists on the Do-Chi continent, and was far grander in scale than the pill gathering. 9th-rank alchemists participated, creating the most astonishing medicinal pills. Everything was proceeding smoothly until one of the participants, Hun Huzi, an alchemist from the Hun clan, demanded the 2-Shi ancient jade that belonged to the Yao clan. Yao Dan, the 7-star saint and head of the Yao clan, intended to capture him. However, Hun Huzi only uttered 2 words. "The time has come." Black flames enveloped his body, and his strength strangely rose to the level of a 7-star saint. Could it be that he truly intended to steal the Yao clan's ancient jade? Xiao Yan's expression immediately turned extremely serious. He stared intently at Hun Huzi and clearly realized that from the very beginning, he had never been able to perceive the man's true strength. Yao Dan, the head of the Yao clan, rose to his feet and ordered a signal to be sent to the Yen and Lei clans, informing them that the culprit behind the disappearance of the Ling and Shi clans had finally been found. The moment those words were spoken, Xiao Yan's body trembled. Everyone looked at Hun Huzi in shock, realizing that the Hun clan had indeed been behind the disappearance of those clans. Despite their fear, the Yao clan elders hurriedly took out spatial scrolls and activated them. Space trembled, but the tunnel that had just formed instantly vanished. The Yao clan realm had been sealed. The expressions of all the experts who had come to attend the medicine ceremony changed drastically. They attempted to use their own spatial scrolls, but the result was the same. None of them could leave this place. And be sure to watch the video about the swallowed star Donghua using the link in the description. Xiao Yan took a deep breath, and his face became grimmer than ever before. He realized that the Hun clan had targeted the Yao clan from the very beginning and had deliberately chosen the moment of the medicine ceremony, when everyone was gathered together. Yao Dan also crushed the ring on his finger, which was supposed to transmit a special fluctuation to the leaders of the Yen and Lei clans. However, Hun Huzi merely laughed. "It is useless." Yao Dan rose into the sky, and a terrifying 7-star saint aura erupted from his body. The pressure he emitted was even stronger than Hun Huzi's, clearly demonstrating the strength of the Yao clan leader. At this moment, the leaders and elders of the other factions who had come to the ceremony began pleading for mercy. They understood that if they remained here, they would meet the same fate as the Ling and Shi clans. Hun Huzi merely smiled and declared that anyone who did not belong to the Yao clan was free to leave. Those words immediately brought relief. People quickly turned around and rushed toward the exit of the Yao realm at full speed. Watching this scene, Xiao Yan frowned. He knew the Hun clan far too well and understood that they were not the type to leave witnesses alive. And indeed, the moment this thought crossed his mind, countless black lights erupted on the horizon. Immediately afterward, heart-wrenching screams echoed through the sky. Black flames began seeping out from the void, rapidly spreading in all directions. In the blink of an eye, the entire realm was shrouded in darkness. Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed sharply as he recognized the flames. This was the genuine nihility devouring flame. Even little E became unusually serious, clearly sensing the threat emanating from it. Hun Huzi hovered in the sky, with monstrous black flames raging behind him. Slowly spreading his arms, he looked at Yao Dan with a cold smile. "Yao Dan, it is my honor to inform you that the Yao clan is finished." The black flames completely swallowed the sunlight, covering the entire realm beneath their gloomy veil. Everyone's Do-Chi began to slowly disappear. It was as if something invisible had appeared inside their bodies and was continuously devouring their strength from within. Xiao Yan acted immediately. He placed a hand on Yao Lao's shoulder, and pink flames enveloped them both. The fire lotus within his eyes began to rotate, allowing him to see the true nature of what was happening. The entire space was filled with countless tiny clusters of black flames, invisible to the naked eye. These clusters settled onto people's bodies like larvae, burrowed into their bones, and began devouring their Do-Chi. Even Do-Chi defenses were completely ineffective, as the black flames merged with them and destroyed them from the inside. Yao Lao solemnly remarked that the realm had been completely sealed. Clearly, the Hun clan had no intention of leaving anyone alive. Xiao Yan frowned and realized that the Hun clan had finally begun to act. They had fallen directly into a trap. Even if someone had anticipated an attack, No one could have predicted the exact moment when it would occur, when nothing could be changed anymore. Yao Lao bitterly admitted that the Hun clan had likely been preparing for this for a very long time, concealing their intentions ever since the disappearance of the Shi clan. He had never expected that even the alliance of the Yao, Yan, and Lei clans would be unable to stop their plans. It now became clear why the Hun clan had not intervened earlier, even when the Heavenly Mansion Alliance had weakened the Hall of Souls. They had simply been preparing for a far more important objective: the destruction of the Yao clan. Compared to this, even eliminating Xiao Yan was not their highest priority. What would Xiao Yan do in the face of this deadly threat? The only option was to observe and wait for the right moment. If the Hun clan launched a full-scale assault, the Yao clan would inevitably resist, and then there would be an opportunity to exploit the chaos and escape. He had no intention of interfering with the fate of the Yao clan, as they were already standing on the brink of destruction. Yao Lao silently agreed. Despite his origins, he had long since been expelled from the Yao clan, and now Xiao Yan occupied a far more important place in his heart than that cold clan ever could. Rising into the sky, Yao Lao gazed at the endless black flames stretching to the horizon and felt the terrifying aura radiating from them. At this moment, Yao Dan, sensing the deadly danger, issued a decisive order to activate the Yao Heavenly Formation. Today would determine the fate of the entire clan. This ancient defensive formation had never been used before, and its activation alone spoke of an unprecedented crisis. Almost every member of the Yao clan poured their power into the formation. Even Xiao Yan could feel the pressure emanating from it. It had reached the level of an 8-star saint, clearly demonstrating the true power of the Yao clan. However, upon witnessing this, Han Huzi merely sneered. He acknowledged the strength of the formation, but then turned toward the raging black flames behind him and respectfully said, "Nihility, it seems you may need to intervene personally to break this formation." After those words, the black flames slowly began to move. They gathered into a dense mass and soon took the shape of a humanoid figure. The figure was covered in black flames and strange symbols. Its eyes resembled bottomless black holes radiating devouring power. An ancient and terrifying aura surrounded it. Xiao Yan instantly realized that this was the true form of the nihility devouring flame. This heavenly flame had already developed its own spirit and had even surpassed the purifying demonic lotus flame. Xiao Yan sensed that the strength of this being exceeded even that of Yao Dan, the 7-star saint. It was the most terrifying heavenly flame he had ever encountered. The figure slowly lowered its gaze toward the enormous formation below. The black flames above its head flared and transformed into a rain of fire that poured down upon the formation. The moment the fiery droplets touched it, white smoke began to rise. The formation's energy was being rapidly devoured by the rain. At the same time, a hoarse voice echoed across the sky. "Yao clan, you may still survive if you surrender." But Yao Dan responded with furious refusal. His face twisted with determination. An enormous amount of energy was poured into the formation. Even Xiao Yan noticed that countless medicinal pills were contained within the stream of light. The Yao clan was effectively using all of its reserves. As this power accumulated, Yao Dan's determination reached its limit. Calling upon the strength of tens of thousands of pills, he addressed the ancestors' consciousness. Tens of thousands of pills form the heavens. In the name of pills, ancestors' consciousness, return. This was a difficult confrontation. However, the abilities of the nihility devouring flame were simply too terrifying. In the end, the experts of the Yao clan prepared to self-destruct. Han Huzi immediately understood what was happening. If so many experts exploded simultaneously, even the sealed realm might not be able to withstand it and could shatter apart. However, the nihility devouring flame had already dispersed into countless fragments and could not stop them instantly. Han Huzi abruptly took out a spatial scroll wrapped in black flames. Tearing it apart, he unleashed a flash of light from which a fiery tunnel instantly formed. Figures began emerging from it, appearing one after another in the sky above the chaotic battlefield. With their arrival, waves of cold and powerful auras swept across the heavens. The pressure was so overwhelming that despair filled the hearts of everyone present. The Hun clan experts who had remained hidden until now had finally entered the battlefield. Yao Dan immediately noticed them. At the front stood two Hun clan elders. He recognized them at once. They were Hun Jing and Hun Yen, two of the 4 demon saints of the Hun clan, both at the 7-star saint level. Their appearance clearly demonstrated just how seriously the Hun clan had taken the destruction of the Yao clan. One of the elders suggested that Yao Dan submit and transform the Yao clan into a subordinate clan. He claimed that in this way, their bloodline could at least survive. However, Yao Dan firmly refused. Even if they had to sacrifice their last drop of blood, they would never live in humiliation beneath the rule of the Hun clan. The answer did not surprise his enemies. The elder merely sneered coldly and calmly gave the order to leave no one alive. And so the events unfolded. What awaits us next? Thank you very much for watching. Write in the comments what you think about the beginning of Hun Tiandi's grand scheme. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and goodbye everyone.